perhaps premature to make any conclusions. Today, Gorbachev met with the former Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, who expressed a desire to cooperate with the Soviet president. Incidentally, Gorbachev did not exclude the possibility of participation on the part of Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher in his fund. The fund will be working I hope, in a useful fashion for Russia and for members of the Commonwealth and for world politics. In the near future, the fund of the Soviet president will have to be officially registered. Gorbachev is beginning a new life. In Tbilisi, there's been a criminal case launched against Gamsahurdia. He's accused of inciting hostility, of stealing state funds, of misusing his official position, and destroying architectural monuments. He is also accused of escalating the conflict in Ossetia and of stealing tens of millions of rubles and of destroying buildings on Rustaveli Street, which were very valuable. In the meantime, the deputies of the Georgian parliament have decided to consolidate society on the basis of the People's Meeting. In the west of Georgia, there were a number of demonstrations in which the Tbilisi events were characterized as a putsch and ruled by a junta. Our Gamsahurdia himself is in Armenia, in the area of Ijevan. Today, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Andrei Kozyryev, while traveling to Estonia and Germany, stopped off in Kaliningrad. He talked about the economic situation of this region, which is a forepost of Russia and Europe at the same time. Now the task is for the area to become an advanced area of economic activity. The Romanian government is in a blind alley. It either has to accept galloping inflation or social explosions. After in December the prices were raised again, it was hoped that prices would at least be temporarily raised. Now we have to see, however, the prices have again gone up very harshly to compensate the people, as they have decided to raise prices. At the beginning of every quarter, the salaries will be raised in accordance with the cost of living. This is ham, says in Romanian. So 90% of the people here are having problems. The new system will allow the enterprises to fire 3 bad employees and have only 1 good one. The unions are demanding a minimum wage in the sum of 224,300 lei instead of the current minimum wage of 7,000. The participation of many prominent leaders have not been able to move the negotiations off the current situation where they have not been moving forward. Today, in Bucharest, there is a meeting of the miners. A group of observers from the UN have set out from Austria to Yugoslavia, 50 persons who have been entrusted with establishing centers for the 50,000 strong contingent which will arrive. So Bush met in Kansas with the farmers. He accused the European community with interfering with farm trade. Bush called for a total rejection of agricultural subsidies. He said the government would continue to subsidize the agricultural sector for the time being only. The Islamic Salvation Front in Algeria has appealed to the people to begin to struggle with the government. The official declaration says that when the second round of elections were cancelled, the authorities betrayed Allah and the people. Transportation and stores are functioning, Tanks are protecting the crucial points in the capital. The chief prosecutor of Israel has spoken about certain arrests in the occupied territories. In his opinion, this measure went beyond the bounds of reason. Such forms of arrest permit the prisoners to be held without trial from 6 months to 1 year. On these days, the Moscow Chamber Music Orchestra is celebrating its 80th anniversary under Boris Pokrovsky as the director. The chamber musical theater, directed by Pokrovsky, always has two lines: one line of listeners and one of composers who are writing for the theater. This theater has long since become famous in Europe and has no analogous structures anywhere in the world. The performances here are unique. From the 17th and 18th century performances to Stravinsky, Prokofiev, Shostakovich, and Britten, there is a great skill of improvisation here, which returns the long-lost tradition of this type of theater. In Pokrovsky, in his long career, has brought up a number of generations of actors. He put on Weinberg's Idiot here, based on Dostoevsky's novel The Idiot. This is a tragedy of our own time, our joint tragedy. This is Mr. Pokrovsky. We, the creative intelligentsia, are capable of struggling for the purity of the human soul. So we have to worry about this. For that reason, the performances that we put on must be pure and true in the soul and in the heart. This is the sports section coming up. You're listening to simultaneous interpretation from the Russian by John Glad. Good evening. So now we have the results. We know that the former USSR athletes will be participating in the Olympic Games in Albertville as a united team. That's a decision made by Smirnov and the Olympic authorities. And the soccer fans can also be sleep calmly, recognizing the recently established Soccer Association of the Commonwealth, and the command also of Yugoslavia will be able, and the team of Yugoslavia will be able to take part themselves. We had a great performance in swimming on the part of Yelena Dandaberova, who had her second victory. 100 meters, she's on mixed style. She swam it in 1 minute, 1 and 19 seconds. That just was slightly short of the world record. And that's in a 25-meter pool. Today in Moscow, we had the first charity match in mini football, mini soccer, with the participation of Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. They say that soccer is the mirror of our life in society. That means that the tournament in the Luzhniki Stadium, part of the proceeds of which will go for orphans, and that demonstrates that sports can unify people. There were no surprises in the first round in the tennis matches in Australia. Here we see the first racket of the world, Monika Seles from Yugoslavia, meeting with the Japanese player Ki Dyumi to give her only 2 games in sets 6-2 and 6-0. The Kiev player, Evgenia Munikova, fell out of the competition. There was a sensation in the World Cup in Hinterstoffe, the slalom here. We see Annalisa Koberberger. She was able to beat Schneider from Switzerland, but The recognized leaders are probably saving their strength for the Olympic competitions, which will begin in a month. The end of the African auto rally is close to an end, but we already know the results. I think there have been a lot of rain, and so part of the desert portion has been canceled. Galtsov is in the second place. French team is in first place. So you can hear the more detailed results after midnight on our channel. And here we have the weather. In Turkmenistan, +4 to +9 Celsius. Uzbekistan, +3 to +8, snow in the mountains. In Kazakhstan, 0 to -5 Celsius. In the west, -5 to -10. The Urals, -24 to -29. Gets down to 20th in the south. In Novosibirsk,